what's going on YouTube? Nassif here from Click, and today I'll be doing a quick video here. I'll be giving you that full review I said I'd post up on the Blu Vivo Air LTE, and I'll be giving you my final verdict on the phone as well. Alright, so first off, I'm going to start with things I went over in the initial impressions video. So we'll go over things like the build, how the phone's held up. We'll go over the case, if you want to maybe mention a little bit how the case is held up. And yeah, then we'll go from there. So basically build-wise, if you pop the case off here. Since I got this case, I've been using it. It's a really nice case, especially for the price. But yeah, I mean, the phone's held up really well. There's no scratches anywhere that I've noticed. There's no dings or anything along the aluminum. It has faced a few drops naked, maybe from, I'd say maybe like 2 foot drops. They're not too high, but they are drops, and there's no visible damage on the phone. But again, you know, fingerprint magnet, there's nothing I can do to stop that, so I just kind of gave up on that. Threw the case on, you really can't see them. And if I really want to clean the screen, I also have a microfiber cloth on me, so just do that now while we're on camera. All right. So yeah, I mean, build-wise, phone's really held up really well. And same thing with the case. I've only had it for a short while, but you know, held up really well. This has also had a few drops, so I will mention that the matte finish on here is a little bit of an oil magnet. So if you notice, if you look, I don't know. I mean, when I'm at work and stuff, your hands get oily. You just touch the phone, the fingerprint shows up. Right now, it's not too bad, but I mean, for me, I can see them behind the camera here. They're showing up, and there's a few minor. I don't know if you can see these. Try and get this into focus here. There's a few minor scratches here, I guess, just from use of in and out of the pocket. But you know, better the case than the phone, right? So pretty much, I guess that's all I want to say. Maybe in terms of software, I should mention this is a massive issue I had. So since the initial impressions video, up to that point, the phone was running great. I had no issues with it, and you know, there's no stutters, no lag, there's nothing. And then after I shot the initial impressions video, I think maybe a couple days after, I started noticing that the phone would just freeze random. Like if I pull down, you know, it would just freeze kind of like midway, and the screen would become completely unresponsive. And there was nothing even running in the background. Like I would have just a couple apps like this open up, and they would just freeze on random things. It would just completely freeze, and the phone would become unresponsive. You know, most of the time I'd end up having to hard reset it, so it would force the reboot. So I ended up trying to clear the cache initially in the recovery mode, and the phone just didn't want to do that. It would say formatting cache, and it would be stuck on that for, I think I let it sit for maybe 10 minutes, and it didn't seem to do anything. So I ended up having to reboot the phone, go back into recovery, and I decided I'm just going to take the SIM out of this for now, pop it in my HTC, and I'll run the factory reset on this thing. And I'll get it set up at a later time. So that's why you're kind of looking at the stock launcher right now with nothing really set up. So, I mean, I think from the initial impressions video, that's pretty much all I wanted to mention. Yeah, battery. Obviously, battery is an important factor. Been pretty consistent. At one point, I had 5 hours of screen on time on one of my days. So yeah, if you're worried about battery, there's nothing to be worried about. This 2000 milliamp hour battery holds up really well. So we head over to some of the pictures I've been taking with this thing. Let's get a little bit closer here and get into focus. So in daytime, obviously the picture is going to turn out really nice. If I zoom in here, you know, the details, I'd say the detail is pretty decent for an 8 megapixel shooter, considering we're looking at a $300 price tag here. So yeah, daytime photos is the same thing here. I was sitting at the Go station. Detail is pretty decent. I believe it is a Sony sensor. If you take a look at the box here. So it just says 8 megapixel, but I'm pretty sure it's a Sony IMX sensor or something in this thing. So let's get the screen back into focus here. All right, so we're looking at some low light shots here. This was outside just after a snowstorm. So obviously in low light, you're going to lose a little bit of the quality. You're going to get a little bit of glare from all the lighting. And if you head over to another picture I took here, if you zoom in here, the car becomes very, you know, over here, doesn't look too bad. I mean, I would say it's an okay picture. Obviously, you can see there's a bit of graininess going on with the bike here. But if you zoom in, it becomes evident that this is not a very good picture. And the thing is, it may look like I was kind of moving or it's shaky, but I tried holding the camera as steady as I could when I took this shot. And then this one outside, this one seemed to turn out just a tad bit better than the one outside with the car. But again, same thing. If you zoom in here, you get a lot of graininess and you lose a lot of quality in the picture. So in terms of picture quality overall, it's an okay camera. I think for let's get this back in focus here. For 300 bucks, I'm not going to complain. It's decent enough. It'll get the job done. If I want to post stuff to Instagram or people aren't going to be zooming in on, you know, minute pixels and stuff on the screen, then it'll be great for Instagram. Maybe I'll post up some photos that I just end up taking with this on our Instagram account, and you can check those out and see. That is really not that bad as I may make it out to be. But if you're taking it for, you know, trying to replace your DSLR or something, no, hell no, that's not happening. This camera is not as great as any other flagship, but again, for 300 bucks, I'm not going to sit here whinging and whining about the camera. Front camera is okay. It'll get the job done for Skype and for your occasional selfie taking, but I don't expect any, you know, amazing shots out of it, especially in low light. I mean, in low light pictures and scenarios, the front camera doesn't hold up very well. I think one thing I wanted to talk about as well is the speaker. So let's head over to YouTube, and I'll just play this on full volume for maybe a couple seconds here, and we'll get a taste of what the speaker sounds like. So I'll play it like this first with the audio, how you would normally hold the phone, then I'll turn it around, I guess midway through, and then I'll put the phone down on the table like this to see how muffled it'll get. So let's just get into it. Get maximum volume. Right, so I'm going to turn it around now. Right, I'm going to put it on the table now. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the speaker. Obviously with it being, oh man, let's get this back in focus here. So obviously with it being a backfiring speaker, if you're holding the phone like this, using it normal usage or whatever, so obviously audio is going to be firing backwards. It's not going to sound as great as, you know, front-facing speakers. And when you turn it around, there's not really much of a difference. The speaker, honestly, itself is very tinny. You're not getting any bass at all from it. It's mostly the highs. So it may get slightly louder than the average speaker, but, you know, there's no point in having a speaker that's so loud and it has no real quality behind it. In terms of it facing on a table like this, it completely muffles it out. I'd say try and avoid this at all costs. If you can pick up a little stand, like I've got a bunch of these stands from like eBay or something. If you can pick it up and watch your movies or your YouTube videos like this, that'll make a huge difference. But I would probably try and stay away from holding it like this because there's no point. And another thing to note also, I noticed the sound, let's head back into YouTube here. So the difference between me playing it at this volume, so maybe 65% and 100%, there's really not much of a difference between 100% and 65 to 70%. So you're probably better off rocking it at 65% because once you get to the 100%, you can kind of feel the back panel of the glass kind of vibrating in your hand. And it really is an odd feeling. It almost makes the phone feel like it's extremely poorly made in that sense. But that's just down to because the phone is so thin and they've crammed a speaker in here as well. And on top of that, the panel on the back is glass, so it's going to be vibrating when the speaker's playing on full volume. So if you come, like, I mean, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. So basically, if you watch this and the initial impressions video, I'll have that link down in the description as well if you want to check that out. You'll kind of get like the full-on review based on my, maybe, I think I've had the phone rocked it for about a week and a half now. So I think it's long enough that I can give my kind of final verdict on the phone. And again, I got to keep in mind, I keep talking like this thing's a flagship. I got to keep in mind that I only paid $290 for this thing. So it is a sub $300 phone. And now that, you know, I kind of take that into perspective here and I consider that, I've got to say this is a really, really good phone for the price that you paid. You get the thinnest design in the world, the lightest design in the world, or one of them. And I mean, everything's decent. It'll get the job done. For a heavy user, you're probably better off spending another $150 to $200 and get a proper flagship phone. But I guess if you're a basic phone user, you're not going to be doing too much YouTubing or, you know, heavy usage and stuff, then I think this phone would be really great for you. And especially because it doesn't break the bank. You know, most phones these days cost upwards of $600, $700. Some of them are up into thousands now. So this one, you know, it's good. $300, you get a nice small phone. It's, you know, nice in the hand. You can pick up a nice cheap case for it if you don't like the one that it comes with, and you're kind of backed by that blue quality. I mean, blue phones, they've always been built with some resemblance of quality, so That's pretty much it. I'd say out of a scale from 0 to 10, I'd give the phone about a 7.5, just because the camera's not that great and the speaker's not that great. In terms of the display, I can live with a 720p display, but I've been using my HTC for a couple days, and the difference between 720 and 1080, you can notice a difference, and I gotta say the 1080 display would have been nice in this phone. I wouldn't mind paying a little bit extra and having a 1080p panel in here. So that, but it is what it is. You can pick up the Vivo 5 now with a 1080p display. I think it's like 325 bucks or something. So, but that's maybe if I pick that thing up, I'll do a review and whatnot. I'll go through everything like I did with this phone. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. If you like what you're seeing, leave us a like, drop us a sub. Definitely helps the channel. If you think maybe your friends or some family would like what you're watching, then definitely share the video on Facebook, Twitter, and whatnot. Get us out there. It really helps us out. And that's pretty much it. So again, thanks for watching. This has been Nasif from Click, and I'm out. Peace.